It's been almost 2 months since ABC cancelled ratings juggernaut Roseanne after Roseanne Barr's racist tweet about Valerie Jarrett. The network is moving ahead with spin-off The Conners instead, and ABC Entertainment President Channing Dungey has no regrets about axing TV's #1 comedy. In her first interview since making headlines across the country for the shocking cancellation, Dungey talks with The Hollywood Reporter's Leslie Goldberg about the Roseanne experience, whether the pooled Blackish episode was the final straw for Kenya Barris's departure, and more. While the decision to remove a series from the air that was pulling in the kind of ratings Roseanne was might seem like a tough choice, Dungey assures us that it wasn't that difficult. It felt like a line had been crossed and we needed to stand by our values as a company. When asked by Goldberg if there's anything she would have done differently, Dungey responds, "No, I don't think so. I think the swift, decisive action really spoke volumes, and I think we're proud of what we did." Dungey also reveals that she received plenty of positive responses about her decision to axe the show, particularly from communities in Hollywood that have felt marginalized or have experienced issues that have been overlooked or brushed over. Dungey cites the recent movements that have brought issues such as sexual harassment into the spotlight as being a benchmark for people speaking up about other issues too. What's happened with Me Too and Time's Up is that it's brought a lot of issues that have been hiding just under the surface to light, she says. It's encouraging people to engage in conversations, and I think for a long time there was lip service to the idea of equality in the workplace and help from human resources. Now people feel empowered to speak up when there are things that are troubling them. People are going to be hopefully better about taking decisive action when it needs to be taken. Despite the rating success of Roseanne, ABC did face criticism for giving Barr another platform, considering her controversial public persona and actions. For example, posing for photos dressed as Hitler with a tray of intentionally burnt cookies. Says Dungey, those photos were from a long time before our show. She has had a slightly vitriolic history when she was on the show the first time around. One of the things she came to us to say was, "I regret my past actions and I feel like I have important stories to tell. I'm looking for a second chance." And I'm a big believer in second chances. Dungey also suggests that the star had been warned about social media behavior. "We've had multiple conversations about wanting to keep the focus on the show and not let some of the other stuff eclipse the show," she says. So in some ways, this was a last straw. Meanwhile, the rest of the cast of the Roseanne reboot will be getting a second chance at rating success as the spin-off centered around the family, minus their matriarch, moves ahead. Dungey explains it's still Dan dealing with what he's dealing with, Darlene dealing with what she's dealing with. All those issues that were set up so well in the first 9 episodes will continue. Something else that will continue, the show catering to Middle America, much like Roseanne did. "We really wanted to focus on a specific, particularly economic slice of our country, which we think we did very well in the first season and will continue to do," says Dungey. Moving on to the topic of another high-profile exit, namely that of Blackish creator Kenya Barris, Dungey explains, "Kenya and I have had and continue to have a very close working relationship. He's still very involved in this upcoming season of Blackish, and as far as Disney is concerned, he has Grownish and a new series, Besties, at Freeform. That continues. Things are cyclical, and Kenya is at a point in his career where he wants to explore some different things narratively that he didn't feel he could do in broadcast." When asked if the pooled Blackish episode was a sticking point for Barris, Dungey responds, "No, there were certainly frustrations there on all sides and we came to a mutual decision not to air the episode. But it's also broadcast has its challenges. People struggle with act breaks, with standards and practices, with the needs and points of view of our affiliates. Sometimes it's easier to tell certain stories in the streaming space." Barris is rumoured to be heading to Netflix as part of a 9-figure deal along with another producing powerhouse, Shonda Rhimes. Despite losing 2 of the network's top showrunners and creators, however, Dungey remains excited for what is to come as ABC's parent company, Disney, is on the verge of acquiring Fox assets, including its TV studio. "We have a great relationship with 20th TV already, and I have loved and continue to love working with Anachak Khan, showrunner on ABC's Fresh Off the Boat," says Dungey. "We have Single Parents that we're doing, and just saw Liz Merriweather close a new deal with 20th. That's exciting to see. They have an amazing roster, as does ABC Studios. If all this comes together, it will be an exciting time." To read more on this story, including Dungey's comments on James Gunn, Modern Family, and more, head to THR.com. For The Hollywood Reporter News, I'm Lindsay Rodriguez.